Hey guys, welcome to Pages with Sidra. Today, we're diving into Chapter 535 of I Have 90 Billion Licking Gold Coins. If you haven't watched the previous chapters, make sure to check them out on my channel. Now, without any delay, let's dive into the chapter. After hanging up the call, Jun found himself unable to calm down. Working under a boss like Qian was unbelievably easy. No matter how big the crisis, he always had a solution. He never took one step at a time. Instead, he was always 10 steps ahead. Less than 10 minutes after hanging up, two core executives suddenly barged into Jun's office. Without knocking, Jun's face darkened immediately. He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. Gao Xiong, Su Jie, you're here. The two men smirked as if they hadn't just stormed into his office. Mr. He, do you need something from us? Gao Xiong asked, feigning innocence. Jun didn't bother replying. Instead, he grabbed a stack of documents and slammed them on the desk. I want an explanation. 200 million mobile phones. What the hell is this contract? Su Jie grinned smugly. Mr. He, aren't you supposed to be praising us? He gestured dramatically. After all, as top executives, it's our duty to secure sales. Before this, Panga Mobile's sales weren't doing well. But thanks to the tireless efforts of Mr. Gao and me, we managed to land multiple massive contracts. And at $1,500 per phone, we've secured maximum profits for the company. His smug tone made Jun's blood boil. Jun's face turned cold. Oh, maximum profits? His voice was dangerously low. Then explain this clause. If the company fails to deliver on time, it must pay double the price as compensation. What kind of nonsense is this? Gao Xiong shrugged nonchalantly. It's all written clearly in the contract, Mr. He. If a buyer places such a large order, the supplier must ensure timely delivery. It's basic business integrity. If we fail to deliver, we simply compensate them fairly. A double refund seems reasonable to me. He even had the nerve to sound confident. Jun's temper snapped. Reasonable? Do you even understand the scale of 200 million phones? And all of them are high-end flagship models. Are you pretending you don't know that Western countries have sanctioned Panga Mobile? Even before the sanctions, we wouldn't have been able to secure that many high-end chips. His voice rose in anger. Are you helping the company, or trying to destroy it? Su Jie raised his hands innocently. Mr. He, please don't get so worked up. Look, Mr. Gao and I were only responsible for securing external sales. Isn't it a good thing that we overachieved? We got the company a huge order. How is that our fault? Gao Xiong nodded. That's right, Mr. He. How could we have predicted that Western countries would suddenly impose sanctions? We're not fortune tellers, after all. Jun almost exploded on the spot. These two. They were playing dumb, throwing responsibility elsewhere. But sooner or later, they'd regret it. He narrowed his eyes. Su Jie smirked. If you have nothing else to say, Mr. He, we'll head back to work. Just as Gao Xiong and Su Jie were preparing to leave, Jun's cold voice rang out. Go to work? The two of you don't need to anymore. Both men froze in place. The company's senior management has decided. You were suspended. Additionally, the company will repurchase your shares at 50% of their value. You don't have to sell them, but if you want to stay, you'll have to ride out this storm with us. His voice was firm. There was no room for negotiation. But instead of panic, a smirk spread across Gao Xiong's face. Mr. Gao, did you hear that? This is the true face of capitalism. So heartless. Gao Xiong shook his head dramatically. Jun, have you forgotten how we built this company? We worked day and night, poured in our sweat and effort. And now, just because Yin Zong threw in some money, he owns 90% of CY Technology? Meanwhile, us founders have been diluted to less than 1%. His voice dripped with mockery. Now you want to kick us out? Is this fair? But Jun simply stared at him. Jun knew the truth. Back then, without President Yan's investment, their small workshop would have gone bankrupt. They wouldn't have a single penny left. Instead, they'd be buried in debt. Now, even with less than 1% shares, the market value alone was worth hundreds of millions. And yet, they still weren't satisfied. They wanted at least 10% of CY Technology. They wanted to be billionaires. Su Jie suddenly chuckled. President Gao, let's not waste any more words. We will comply with all of the company's decisions. He then turned to Jun, sneering. I just hope you won't regret this. There was a threat hidden in his words. With that, the two men turned and walked out. But as they left CY Technology's headquarters, they drove straight to the Bulgari Hotel, where they had a very special meeting waiting for them. Inside a private suite, a mysterious woman sat with a glass of wine in hand. Her name was Miss Tina, a high-ranking member of the Morgan Consortium. She greeted them with a charming smile. "I assume everything went as planned?" Sujia nodded. "Yes, everything is in place. Now, as for our reward." Miss Tina leaned forward. "Don't worry. As promised, once everything is completed, you'll receive your bonus." The deal was simple. The Morgan Consortium, Rockefeller Consortium, Rothschild Consortium, and 3 other major families had one goal: to destroy Pangamobile. And they had already wired a $100 million check to Su Jie and Gao Xiong. But this was just the beginning. Once their plan succeeded, they would receive a secret rebate worth billions. Pangamobile was simply too dangerous. If they couldn't control it, they would destroy it. And Qin Yuan? He was a threat to the entire global financial system. At the same time, in a quiet corporate lounge, 2 individuals sat across from each other, Yihan and Yuling Shuang. They sipped their coffee, discussing business strategy. But oddly enough, the news of Nia Wenqizi being a spy didn't seem to surprise Yuling Shuang. Yihan raised an eyebrow. "Ms. Yu, did you already suspect this?" Yuling Shuang gave a small smile. "Not just suspect. I was certain of it." Yihan was intrigued. "Then do you think Qin Yuan knew too?" Yuling Shuang chuckled. "With the boss's intelligence? Of course, he knew. Do you really think he'd let a killer lurk around him without noticing?" Her voice carried a trace of admiration. "To be honest, I was a spy too. I was originally sent to infiltrate the boss's company. But over time, I was completely convinced by his strength and vision. So I chose to truly follow him." Yihan smirked. "I see. So Qin Yuan knew about Chiozi, but he let her stay. That must mean he had his reasons." She leaned back and sighed. "Anyway, there's something else big happening today. Western countries just imposed sanctions on Pangamobile. What do you think, Ms. Yu? Will Qin Yuan have a solution?" Yuling Shuang's lips curved into a knowing smile. "Miss Yi, you already know the answer to that." Yihan suddenly asked. "Okay, I understand. But tell me, has Qin Yuan already solved the lithography machine's technical issues?" Yuling Shuang's eyes widened slightly. Her fingers paused on the coffee cup. "You." She was momentarily stunned. Feiduan Capital's mastery of lithography machine technology was a top-level secret. And yet, Yihan had guessed it. Yuling Shuang's expression turned serious. "Miss Yi, you didn't come to me today just to ask about this, did you?" Yihan smiled. "You're right. I actually came with an idea, and I'd like to discuss it with you." Yuling Shuang took a slow sip of coffee. "Go on." Yihan leaned forward slightly. "Ms. Yu, you know about new energy projects, right?" Yuling Shuang nodded. "Of course. In recent years, the country has been aggressively developing new energy vehicles. We've made breakthroughs in battery technology, but when it comes to traditional fuel cars..." Her tone became serious. "Western countries are centuries ahead of us. For us, catching up with them in fuel vehicle manufacturing is nearly impossible." She placed her cup down. "That's why our country chose a different path. By developing new energy vehicles, we're reducing our dependence on oil. Oil is a non-renewable resource. It will run out one day. We have to prepare for the future." Yihan nodded but then smiled knowingly. "Ms. Yu, that's common knowledge. I'm not here to talk about new energy cars. I want to talk about new energy aircraft." Yuling Shuang's expression changed slightly. "New energy aircraft?" Yihan continued. "You know Longhua Group has an aircraft R&D team. Battery technology isn't just for cars. It can also power aircraft. Think about it. A fully electric aircraft capable of short-distance travel, equipped with an intelligent AI autopilot system. Faster than cars. Safer. More efficient. And more affordable. What if, in the near future, people stopped using cars and switched to personal flying vehicles?" For the first time, Yuling Shuang was truly shocked. No one had even popularized electric cars yet. And Yihan was already thinking about electric aircraft? She couldn't deny it. This was a groundbreaking concept. But there were major issues. "Miss Yi, aircraft are far more expensive than cars. Even if this is developed, it'll only be affordable for the wealthy. Ordinary people won't be able to buy one." Yihan chuckled. "That's true for now. But what if, one day, the cost of an aircraft dropped to the price of a car? If that happens, land transportation will become obsolete." Her words sent a chill down Yuling Shuang's spine. The entire automotive industry could be overthrown. A new era of personal flight would begin. And those who entered the market first would control the future. Yu Lingshuang took a deep breath. Miss Yi, this idea is beyond ambitious. But developing such technology will require massive investment. Even if we build it, there's no guarantee people will buy it. That was exactly why Longhua Group's senior executives had rejected this project. It was too risky. But Yihan didn't seem disappointed. Instead, she smiled softly. Mr. Yu, can I ask you a favor? Yu Lingshuang raised an eyebrow. Go ahead. Could you bring up this idea to the boss? Just tell him it was a suggestion from one of your subordinates, but don't mention my name. Yu Lingshuang's expression became puzzled. Why don't you tell him yourself? Yihan and Qin Yuan were close. If she proposed it directly, Qin Yuan might agree out of personal feelings. But Yihan didn't want to take that risk. If the project failed, it could create awkward tension between them. So she was playing it safe, letting someone else bring it up. Yu Lingshuang stared at her for a moment, then chuckled. Interesting. Fine, I'll mention it. Yihan's lips curved into a satisfied smile. While the international sanctions on Pangu Mobile continued to stir controversy online in the shadows, a dangerous enemy had finally recovered enough to take action. Xuantian Yaozu, an ancient powerhouse, had healed 70% of his injuries, though not at full strength. Even in his weakened state, eliminating a third-tier expert would be effortless. At his side, his disciple Qian hesitated. Master, are you really planning to take action? Xuantian Yazu's eyes glowed with cold-killing intent. Yes. According to Uncle Beichen's description, Qin Yuan might have strong allies. Or maybe, he himself is powerful. But no matter how strong he is, at most, he's just a little stronger than Beichen. He's still too young. If he reached the third tier, it was likely due to luck. Killing him will be easy. Xuantian Yaozu continued, his tone cold and calculated. Last time, we underestimated him and fell into an ambush. That won't happen again. This time, I will act alone. I'll strike him on the road between Duan Tian New City and his villa. No special forces, no security, he won't expect it. It will be as easy as picking fruit from a tree. Killing intent surged around him. For 10 days, he had endured it. The image of Beichen's body turning to dust still haunted him. He had sworn revenge. But his disciple Qian frowned in concern. Master, please be careful. Qin Yuan is too cunning. Your injuries aren't fully healed yet, shouldn't we wait a little longer? Xuantian Yaozu scoffed. I know my limits. If I wasn't absolutely certain, I wouldn't act. Last time, we were betrayed. Someone leaked Beichen's meeting with the secular families. But this time, no one will know. Qian is loyal, and there will be no distractions. The moment I see Qin Yuan, he dies. Instantly. There will be no risk. His confidence was absolute. This time, he would not fail. Qian sighed. All right, master. I will wait for your return. With that, Xuantian Yaozu vanished into the shadows, disguising himself as a commoner. Unlike Beichen, who had recklessly approached Qin Yuan pretending to be a friend, Xuantian Yaozu knew better. He didn't dare to get close to the villa. He didn't dare to pretend to be someone from Qin Yuan's past. Instead, he became invisible, an ordinary stranger blending into the background. No one would suspect him. And when Qin Yuan finally appeared, he would strike. Instant death. No witnesses. The plan was flawless. Qin Yuan never left his house. Since he quit acting, he had no work or ambitions. Every day, he just played video games, ate gourmet food, did nothing. A team of Michelin 3-star chefs cooked for him. Every day, they delivered fresh ingredients by air. He never ate the same meal twice. 3 days passed, and Qin Yuan never stepped outside. Xuantian Yaozu gritted his teeth. This brat is just lazing around all day? Doesn't he have anything better to do? He was growing impatient. That's when his eyes fell on something unexpected. A recruitment notice had been posted near the villa. Recruitment. Villa cleaner. Main duties. Sweeping, taking out trash, moving things. Salary. 5,000 to 8,000. Requirements. Must be hardworking and willing to work. Xuantian Yaozu's eyes narrowed. A new idea began to form. And that's it for today's recap. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest manga, manhwa, and manhwa recaps. What do you think about Xuantian Yaozu's plan? Will he finally get his revenge, or is he underestimating Qin Yuan? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Also, if you know fans who stopped reading after the manhwa got axed, share this video with them. Let's keep this story alive together. See you in the next one. Until then, keep turning the pages.